Hello, lovely. So it's 8:15 on Monday evening, and I realised that I haven't done my live for today. And as I've probably mentioned to you before, I'm doing a challenge where I go live every weekday for a year. So this is week 3, day 1. And I suddenly realised I hadn't done it for today. And oh my goodness, was I tempted not to come and do this and maybe do 2 tomorrow. And you'll notice that I am in my dressing gown, which is one of the reasons that I thought I wouldn't do it. I have no makeup on because I went for quite a late run this evening and got home and had a shower and just thought, well, I'll just get straight into my pajamas and my dressing gown. And so here I am. Um, and then I just thought, well, given that I'm really trying to be super consistent about this, I just have to do it anyway. And I really was tempted to put some clothes on and put some makeup on. And I just thought, this is going to happen, right? This is going to happen. And the important thing is actually the consistency. So here I am. Um, which actually reminded me that actually the thing I probably would be a good thing to have a chat about is habits, right? So if you're anything like me, you're always trying to put habits into place, and you have good days, you have bad days. Sometimes you do your habit for ages, and in fact, a friend reminded me the other night about a time when I was trying to get myself to go running, and I decided I would start off the first day just running for 1 minute. And then the next day I'd run for 2 minutes, and I'd add 1 minute a day, and I was going to blog about it the whole way. And just to see if I could track at what point the resistance really kicked in when it became impossible. It was years and years and years ago now. And in fact, I'd forgotten all about it. And I know I did do it for did I get the full year? I can't remember if I got the full year, but I did build up those runs. And I guess now I don't need it because now I'm when I am doing running, I'm fine to run 30, 45 minutes, whatever the Couch to 4K tells me to run. But it was an interesting experiment, which brings me to talking about mini habits, which is, I think many of you will have heard of this concept of doing very small things to build up a habit. But I had a new take on it when watching a coach training session from a gentleman called James Garrett, and he had a take on mini habits that I hadn't thought of before, which I thought was a really useful thing. So a mini habit should only be between, I think it was like 1 and 5 minutes, 5 minutes at the absolute most, that it should take you to do a mini habit. And what he suggested is that you have, for the habits that you're trying to do, for example, daily, those habits, for example, might take, I don't know, if you're doing, say, meditation, that might take 20 minutes. Doing some stretching might take another 20 minutes. I do some eye exercises because I'm determined to see how long I can go without having to wear glasses. Seems to be working so far. And that would take another 20 minutes. So these are things that, if you're luckily, I do wake up really early in the morning, so I have time to do these things most of the time, but not all of the time. So his suggestion is that rather than say I have to get up really early and go out to work somewhere with a client, instead of not doing my habits at all, that I have a mini version that I can do instead, which, is not going to make me a better meditator, really, if doing a few minutes of meditation, but it keeps the consistency, which is far more important than the actual outcome of the habit, is to build that consistency. So this morning I sat down and came up with mini versions of, my perfect day, with if I was doing all the things that I want to do as a morning routine, for example. And so I came up with a mini version so that I could probably get through all of them in 20 minutes instead of 20 minutes plus 20 minutes plus 20 minutes. So it was fun, actually. So for meditation, I decided all I needed to do was, just sit and feel my fingers, feel the ridges on my fingers to really focus, and just sort of take a minute of just thinking about how I wanted to be present for the day. For stretching, I just picked my 3 quick favorite stretches. For writing in my journal, I just wrote that I only needed to do 1 paragraph sort of outlining how I wanted to be for the day. And yeah, so I just decided, so I have all my daily habits in a Trello board so that I can just kind of move them to the next day and feel like I'm doing something constructive, which is another live that we'll have a talk about, this need to make yourself feel like you're achieving something. And so I had I have my meditation there, 20 minutes, and then inside the Trello card, I just wrote what my mini version would be. So we'll see how it goes. Does this mean that even on the days when I think I don't have time to do all these things, if I just do the mini versions, then that counts as something, as having done it for the day, because it's that doing it every day, that consistency to build a habit, which is much more important than the habit itself, apparently.